What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for NFL Week 9 sleeper picks.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon
so you don't miss our new videos.
In this video, I'm going to give you some of my top DFS sleeper picks, super low priced and low ownership players that could crush value this week and give your lineup an advantage over the field. These are risky plays, meant for large tournaments only. Don't go all in on any of these guys. They are high risk, high reward picks. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Oh, and good news, guys. Make sure to stay tuned to the very end of this video because we removed the box that was popping up and blocking the lineup. So now you can see a full lineup using these picks that we made in this video if you stay to the very end. Okay, guys, NFL Week 9. Let's take a look at the quarterback position. So my sleeper pick at the quarterback position is Kirk Cousins from the Minnesota Vikings playing the Baltimore Ravens, who have the 7th worst defense overall. They're middle of the pack defending opposing quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins has averaged 21.2 fantasy points per game on the season. He gets an average of 1.6 rush attempts per game. He's only going to be about 2% owned, projected at 18.3 fantasy points here in Week 9. And he's $6,200 DraftKings salary, $1,200 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 50 points scored in this game, with the Minnesota Vikings trailing by 6. So you got a high-scoring game, a pretty good matchup here, and a passing game script. Now, Kirk Cousins only scored 13 fantasy points last week, so I think that's why his ownership is so low, because he scored 32 fantasy points the week before that. He's got some pretty big upside, and he was pretty consistent for most of the season, scoring 20 plus fantasy points. So I like Kirk Cousins here versus the Baltimore Ravens. Okay, let's take a look at the running back position. My running back sleeper pick is Boston Scott from the Philadelphia Eagles playing the LA Chargers, who have a middle of the pack defense overall, and they give up the 2nd most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Boston Scott scored 18 fantasy points last week off of 12 rush attempts and 1 pass target. He's only going to be about 4% owned, projected at 9.5 fantasy points here in Week 9. But I think he can score 14 fantasy points or more in this one. And I like this pick because he's only $5,200 DraftKings salary and $1,100 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 49.5 points scored in this game, with the Eagles trailing by 1.5. So pretty high scoring game here and a fantastic matchup. The Chargers have not been able to stop the run, so I like Boston Scott here versus the LA Chargers.
Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching.
If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal,
all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won.
And we'll send you $25 PayPal.
So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you.
Okay, let's take a look at the wide receiver position. My sleeper pick at the wide receiver position is Tyler Boyd from the Cincinnati Bengals playing the Cleveland Browns, who have a good defense overall, and they give up the 10th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Tyler Boyd has averaged 11.7 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 6.6 pass targets per game. He's on the field for 74% of the snaps, He's only going to be about 3% owned, projected at 11.3 fantasy points here in week 9. He's 5,000 DraftKings salary, 900 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 47.5 points scored in this game, with the Bengals favored by 2.5. So decent wide receiver matchup here. And Tyler Boyd scored 20 fantasy points off of 8 pass targets last week. He got 7 pass targets the week before that. He's getting plenty of volume, and he's been productive throughout the season. So I like that low ownership and that low price tag. So I like Tyler Boyd here versus the Cleveland Browns. Now, another wide receiver who I think is a good sleeper pick is Tim Patrick from the Denver Broncos playing the Dallas Cowboys, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, but they give up the 7th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Tim Patrick has averaged 11.3 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 5.3 pass targets per game. He's on the field for 85% of the snaps. He's only going to be about 2% owned, projected at 9.6 fantasy points here in week 9. He's 4,700 DraftKings salary, 900 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 49.5 points scored in this game, with the Broncos trailing by 9.5. So pretty high scoring game here. It's a good wide receiver matchup and a passing game script. And I like this sleeper pick because Noah Fant is out. So I'm expecting Tim Patrick to get a few more pass targets this game. So I like Tim Patrick here versus the Dallas Cowboys.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. This is a great time to get in and try everything for 1 month. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, moving on to the tight end position. My sleeper pick at the tight end position is Evan Engram from the New York Giants playing the Las Vegas Raiders, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and they give up the 4th most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. Evan Engram has averaged 7.7 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 5.5 pass targets per game. He's only going to be about 2% owned. He's on the field for 69% of the snaps, projected at 8.8 fantasy points here in week 9. He's 3,800 DraftKings salary, 1,300 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 46.5 points scored in this game, with the Giants trailing by 3.5. So good tight end matchup here, and Evan Engram has scored 11 and 10 fantasy points in the last 2 games off of 4 and 8 pass targets. So low ownership, low salary, and a good matchup. So I like Evan Engram here versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, if you want to save a ton of salary at the tight end position, take a look at Jordan Akins from the Houston Texans playing the Miami Dolphins, who have the 2nd worst defense overall. They give up the 10th most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. Jordan Akins scored 10 fantasy points last week off of 5 pass targets. He's only going to be about 1% owned, and this is a deep sleeper pick. He hasn't really been super productive this season, but he is only 2,700 DraftKings salary. He's 2,100 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 46.5 points scored in this game, with the Houston Texans trailing by 5.5. So you got a great matchup, a passing game script,
and a guy that could get 5 to 6 pass targets this game for only $2,700 DraftKings salary and 1% ownership. So I like him as a deep sleeper pick here versus the Miami Dolphins. If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smickety smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.